This training video comes to you from the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Ministry of Education in collaboration with USAID Read2 project.
Hello teachers, how are you doing? Today, I hope you all are ready to reflect on teaching and learning skills in English. And the basic skills that we are going to discuss about in this session is reading. Before that, let me share you the objectives designed for today's session. At the end of this session, you will be able to distinguish between learning to read and reading to learn. You will also be able to identify the 5 components fundamental to reading instruction and how they support reading skill development. Before we proceed to our today's session, please try to answer the following questions. The first question is, what do you know about reading? And what else do you want to learn about reading in upper grades? Good. So as to make things easier for you, let me give you a graphic organizer, what we call it KWL. It's an abbreviation in which K stands for what you know about the subject, and W, what you want to know about the topic on hand. And the last letter L stands for that you have achieved after attending the lesson. So, in this graphic organizer, we have 3 columns. Under the first one, you are expected to list down things that you know about the topic. And in the second part, you may list down things that you want to learn about the topic. Finally, there is another column here that you may be expected to list down things that you have learned in the previous session. But this is not a place to be filled right now. Might be after the end of the session. Good job. I hope you may be interested to know components which are fundamental to reading development, and you may also be interested in identifying what the difference between learning to read and reading to learn. Let's make these pointers our today's discussion. Under here, we have 3 questions, and try to make a hot discussion within your group and answer them. The first one, what are the focus of reading instruction in upper grades? How do students use their literacy skill to learn at upper grades? What abilities, skills do they need most at this stage to be able to use their literacy skill to learn? Good. Let me come to the first one. In the reading skills development process, children should first learn to read, and this is expected to happen at the early years of schooling. In the reading skill development process, children should first learn to read, and this is expected to happen at the early years of schooling. Before they begin to use their English literacy skills to learn, children should master the basic skills that would enable them to read and learn. So, the focus of reading instruction in the early grades is learning to be literate. This is the point that we teachers need to be clear with. In upper grades, however, the focus of the reading instruction is using literacy to learn. That means, which is completely different from the lower grades. This involves exposing children to grade level difficulty reading material, such as more challenging vocabulary, varied themes, more challenging contents, longer and more complex sentence organization. This would enable children to gradually move toward this independence. Unlike the lower grades, phonemic awareness and graphophonemic instruction is not expected unless it's for remedial purpose. When we say that students in the upper grade are moving a step forward to independence, we don't mean that they need no more support. Rather, they should be supported. However, the support looks different and has different purposes and uses different process. It no longer looks like letters, sounds, and word recognition. It is a little beyond that. It now looks like clear structures and process for learning using books and ideas from across the content curriculum. Strategies for integrating reading and vocabulary into all areas of our instruction. Reading in the content area simply means that we are integrating reading and vocabulary strategies into all areas of our instruction. We use reading and vocabulary strategies to help students learn more about content. We give more opportunities for students to build their reading skills by exposing them to more text and language with a variety of text and a variety of content, which I have tried to mention so far. These two objectives serve two important purposes. By using reading and vocabulary strategies in our teaching, we make sure students learn our content at higher levels. By giving ongoing opportunities to read and understand words and ideas, we contribute to better student reading skills every day in our classrooms. This collaborative relationship between content instruction and use of reading skills and behaviors is the perfect match to prepare our students to learn at higher levels today and be better prepared for learning tomorrow. Hereunder, there are points that contribute a lot for the betterment of the students' reading skill. They are components of reading. the first indispensable point for enhancing reading skill of students is phonemic awareness. The next is graphonemic awareness, meaning phonics. The third one is fluency. Still we have another point, vocabulary. Vocabulary by itself contributes a lot. And another vital point here is reading comprehension. So I will try to see these things one by one. As a language teacher, you have been doing all these things in your classroom situation. Just this one is for the sake of letting you know. The first component is phonemic awareness. What does phoneme means? And how many phonemes do you know in English? What does phonemic awareness to you? Let me come to the first question. The meaning of phoneme. A phoneme is the smallest unit of sounds that we can make in a language. However, we have 26 letters in English. The number of phonemes that we have is by far greater than this one. It's 44 in number. These are the phonemes we have in English. S, t, p, t. These are the smallest sounds that we can make in the language. Let me drive you to the next point. What is the first sound you heard from this word? K sound. Great. And what is the last sound you heard from this word? T sound. And the sound at the middle of this word is A sound. When we bring these sounds together, we get the word cat. What if we change the last sound into P? We can get cap. And it's also possible to change the first and the second. What are we doing now? We are trying to identifying the sounds from the letters. We are trying to pointing out the sounds from the word. And we are trying to bring them together in the way they could make words. This is what phonemic awareness means. So, let me try to define phonemic awareness. Phonemic awareness means the ability to identify, isolate, bringing together sounds, and manipulating sounds in oral speaking. Having this ability enables students to understand the words in the reading text. The next component of reading is graphonemic awareness, or it is said to be phonics. What does graphonemic awareness mean? What does it mean? How does it contribute to students' reading skill? Now, it would be much more advisable to make a comparison between phonemic awareness and phonics. Phonemic awareness focuses on sounds. And phonics focuses on the relation between letters and sounds. Readers use this relationship, the relationship what we have tried to mention so far, recognize familiar words and to decode unfamiliar words. So having this capability enables students a lot in order to understand the text given there. Okay, now let me come back to fluency. What does fluency refer to? How can teachers measure students' reading fluency? Now, let me ask you to think of things that you are good at. What are the things that you are good at? For example, if you take me as an example, I am really good at playing football. And some of you may be good at dancing. Still some others may be good at cooking. But to be frank with you, all these things could never just happen. They require hard work and practice. In such a process, you have been, or you might have been watching someone doing these actions. And you have taken them, practiced by yourself, and now you are really good at doing these things. Let's take this concept into reading. What does reading fluency mean? So reading fluency can be defined as the ability of children to read a text accurately with the appropriate speed and expression. So now let me give you certain examples which shows us how our students are reading this sentence. He reads every word like this. And we have also students reading like this. He reads like every word like this. Have you seen? Both of reading styles hinder our students from understanding the message. In this case, we teachers are expected to read aloud and be a model for them. Now, let me try to read a text so as to be a model for my students. Okay, now I am going to read a text titled as Masarat Dafar. Masarat Dafar was born on 19 November 1983 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. She is a famous long-distance runner and a world champion. She has traveled to different countries. She has been to Germany, Belgium, Sweden, and the United Kingdom. Her talent enabled her to meet other famous athletes, such as Darartu Tullu, Turunesh Dibaba, Gabriela Zabo, and so on. And this is a model that we teachers are expected to act like in the classroom situation, because it may enable our students to inspire them to read like you. Now let's see how reading fluency is measured in our actual class. Reading fluency can be measured in the classroom situation. Teachers can use their watch to measure fluency of reading. Set the timer on the watch. Give a 1 minute time for students to read the text. Now, let me show you how this thing is being implemented in the actual classroom situation. Okay, students, today we have a reading passage on page 67 about Masarat Dafar, and each of you will have a 1 minute time to read the text. So you need to read as many words as you can within the given time. Now, Salamawit, it's your turn to read the reading passage.
Masarat Dafar was born on 19 November 1983 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. She is a famous long-distance runner and a world champion. She has traveled to different countries. She has been to Germany, Belgium, Sudan, and the United Kingdom. Thailand enabled her to meet other female athletes, each as Daratu Tulu.
Yes, it's interesting. Salamawit can read 50 words per minute. It's really good, but still she can read more if she practices. Then the next will be Yazacho. Yazacho, just come in front and try to read as many words as you can within a minute.
Masarat Dafar was born on 19 November 1983 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. She is a famous long-distance runner in the World Champions. She has traveled to different countries. She has been to Germany, Belgium, Sudan, and the United Kingdom, her talent in Poland. To meet other famous athletics, such as Daratu Tulu, Turunash Dababa, and Gabriela Sizobo. Masarat Dafar began her running career when she was very young. She completed in primary in the secondary school races. She was
Now, Yazacho can read 45 words in the given time. It's really a good job. And the next will be Yitbarak. Please come in front and read as many words as you can within the given time as your friends did so far.
Masarat Dafar was born on 19 November 1983 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. She is a famous long different running and a world camp. She is traveling in different country. She is B to German, Belgium, Sudan, and a United Kingdom. In as trend
Excellent you are. Yitbarak can read 55 words in the time he has given. Yitbarak has read 55 words in the time. And he is really good at reading fluency. But you students should work hard to improve your reading fluency. Thank you very much. Dear teachers, welcome back to this session. I hope you have been attending the classroom situation, how reading fluency is being measured. This is the way how teachers can do while they are trying to teach reading fluency in the actual classroom situation. And from the model lesson, we have seen that students have different reading fluency, and try to do your best to improve your students' reading fluency. The fourth component is vocabulary. And there are questions under here. What's vocabulary? What does it really mean? 2. What is the value of vocabulary power to comprehend the text? 3. What does contextual clue mean? We will discuss about these points. Now let me come to the first one. What does vocabulary mean? Vocabulary means the ability to understand unfamiliar words. That's all. Of course, different scholars may define it from different perspectives. And what is the value of vocabulary power to comprehend the text? If there are some unfamiliar words in a text, that might hinder our students from understanding the entire message of the reading passage. So students should know many of the words from that text in order to get the intended message. And vocabulary development is not a one-time incident. It is an ongoing process that continues throughout one's reading life. Because it is not something that we can improve today. And this can be done in many different ways. The teacher himself may tell you the meaning of words, or sometimes the students may find the meaning from a dictionary, and sometimes there is also another important way, just deducing the meaning of words from the context. Speaking to context, let me try to say something about contextual clues. What does contextual clue mean? Contextual clues are their hints, their indicators from the same text, and enable us to understand the meaning of some unfamiliar words. There may be other words, or it might be pictures and some other kinds of illustrations, charts, graphs, and so on. So anything that may help us to guess the meaning of unfamiliar word is a contextual clue. And the last component of reading is reading comprehension. What is reading comprehension mean? Reading comprehension means understanding the entire message of the reading passage given there. It is really beyond understanding the meaning of isolating sentences. Reading comprehension is not as easy as we think of it. It requires many skills. It requires the reader to draw upon general thinking skill. It demands active engagement of readers. And it also requires students to be good at vocabulary, phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, and so on. Now, it's time for us to just recall what we have learned in our today's lesson. In our discussion so far, we have gone through with the following indispensable points about reading skill in upper grades. The different stages of literacy development, we have seen it. How children progress from learning to read to reading to learn, we have discussed a lot in that regard. And we have seen also the 5 components of reading, which contributes a lot for the betterment of students' reading skill. This is all what I have for today's session. Thank you for your attention. Bye.